Hello, beautiful ones. I hope you're doing well. I wanted to make a quick video to talk about what's going on in the news right now with objects being shut down. In particular, it started off with the supposedly the Chinese balloon, and then the subsequent three objects that have been taken down. One of them was described as being an octagon. Some were described as not having any propulsion and being metallic. So immediately upon hearing that, I decided to check with my galactic family to find out if this was of extraterrestrial nature, and I got no. So hearing about it, what's coming up for me, and I don't normally want to talk about this kind of stuff, but I felt that I needed to, because I don't want any of us to go into fear or any of us to be deceived about what's really happening out there. So I think it's pretty common knowledge for most people, or at least the people have an inkling that there's life out there. There's plenty of life. There's no way that we're the only planet in this galaxy. It's a joke to think that, and very naive of anyone who thinks that. So we're not the only life on this planet. There are millions and trillions, actually, of different life forms that have been here before and that are here now. But the beings that are here now, and I'm not saying that every single civilization that's been here has had good intentions, because I know that's not necessarily the case. But the forces that are working right now, that are, I guess you can say, working almost in the background, even though it's not really the background, they're actually having a lot more influence than we realize. Just like there's there's some negative powers that want to have influence over us, there's just as many, if not more, positive beings that are wanting to help us. So most of them don't obviously show themselves, but a lot of them do. And this is what strikes me as weird, is how many times have we seen spaceships, and people have shown videos of people showing like spaceships just flying around and hanging around and just kind of like, just kind of like stationary or just kind of moving back and forth. And you've never heard of anything like that being shut down. They don't. They just, I remember one time I saw one, and it actually morphed in front of me. Like, it disappeared and then it reappeared and then it became something else. It had like a little like covering on the outside, and then it would remove the covering, and then when it would remove the covering, I could see the space, that it was a spaceship. So when I saw that, I saw that there were what looked like military airplanes that were flying around it, but they didn't shoot it. And like I said, how many of them are out there? Videos of spaceships out there, and I know not all of them are real, but they're out there. And if they wanted to hurt us, they would have already done it. The other thing that made me laugh a little bit was the audacity and even the idea that we, meaning with the technology that we have here on this earth, please keep in mind that all the technology that we have here on this earth is not available and is kind of in hiding. But with the technology that we have, we wouldn't be able to shoot them down. Like, and there's no way. Why would they appear and then just let us shoot them down? But I believe, and I'm feeling like there's more to this, and it's better to not jump to conclusions and go into fear about what's happening. What I can tell you is that it's not extraterrestrial. There are extraterrestrials here. There are ETs here. There's some ETs here in human bodies too, But those particular aliens or whatever civilizations are not going to do that. They're not just going to show up like that and then allow themselves to be shut down and to be taken down. That's not going to happen. I mean, that's almost like saying if we went back to like the Stone Age, or even before that somehow they would be able to take us out with the technology that we have. And not to be like mean, but it is true that like the technology and the evolution of these beings from other planets is going to be beyond anything that we can even imagine or picture. And so to think that our ships, the ships here, or the whatever it is going to take down one of this alien crafts is laughable. It's a joke. Like, no freaking way. There's some technology that they may have access to where they can do that, but it's not shooting it down. It has to be a different type of technology. So why are they doing this? Who's doing this? That's, yet to be seen. Hopefully we'll be able to find out. Sometimes it takes us years to find out these things, and sometimes it happens right away. But I feel like we're kind of waking up to the BS, and so a lot of us kind of like my BS radar went off. I was like, oh no, there's no way. So it could be that this are, the spaceships that are out there that you see up in the sky. They're not all ETs. Some some countries and some governments actually have this technology, including the American government, where it can, they can look like they're spaceships, but they're not necessarily being manned by ET. So it could be something like that. Now the question would be, what would be the purpose of doing that? Who's doing that? And I mean, we could look at many possibilities. There's always this like need for them and I say them, I talk about not wanting to be separate, and we're not separate, but this is what's been set up for us. This has been allowed to take place, and we are actually all involved in this and all co-creating in this, and none of us are actually victims. So keep that in mind when I say this, that there are certain powers that are part of this play, and they're like antagonists. So they're like they're going against necessarily what's good for us. And so they do things to try to lower our frequency, to try to put us in a state of fear. And so I would not put it past them that they would do certain things like that. But saying that, I do want us to keep in mind that all of it is actually being orchestrated by our source, and that everything has already worked out. We've already arrived to where we need to arrive. We're just going through the motions, and we're also getting a chance to choose to make better choices than we would have in the past. And it's, that's why partially, like, I don't like to watch the news, because, like I say, they report a lot of negative things and not the good stuff. And that can really bring you down. I feel it myself. I did like this fast where I just didn't see any news for like a week. And I felt the difference. Like when I looked at the news again, I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't feel so nice anymore. So it's good to stay aware of what's happening. But I feel like anything that I ever need to know is always brought to my attention. There is never any reason why I need to turn on the TV and watch the news to see what's happening. I always seem to find I've never missed out on anything that really mattered. And if I ever want to, search for something, I can search for it. And there's nothing wrong with viewing the news. Just pay attention to how it makes you feel. Pay attention to how it molds your view and your shape of life in general. And ask yourself if that's how you want to view life. Is that how you want to spend the rest of your life? Or would you like to rather be at peace? Yes, be realistic, but be at peace and focus more on the good stuff, while recognizing everything else and handling everything else that has to be handled. So, to conclude, I do not believe that this ships that they are shooting, that are being shut down, are of extraterrestrial origin. I believe that they are man-made, and if they're not man-made, it may be that they're working with other civilizations that are helping them, which that's been talked about a lot too. So it's crazy because a lot of stuff that I'm telling you guys, it's stuff that most of us have heard at one point or another, and it's the same thing. Like when I did when I did my ayahuasca trip, I realized that everything that I was told I already knew at some level. It just wasn't, I wasn't consciously aware of it, but I kind of knew or had an inkling. So have a good day, you guys. Don't feed into the fear. don't be careful what you consume, and that goes for everything that you consume, news, what you consume on your phone, and realize that not everything that we hear is factual, and we have to be really use our discernment to figure out if what we're hearing is true. I know for me, my radar went off with that. I'm like, no, I think that there's something else going on that we don't know about. So anyways, I love you all. Have a beautiful day. Take care. Bye-bye.